My dad's in prison and my mom's living in a clean, sober living environment. You know, she's trying to get sober, and I'm here.
The streets were my friend, my father, and my playground. You know, that's where I was raised up almost my youth, you know, in the streets, because that's where all my friends, my family was.
The streets could take you so quick. That's all we know is the streets. It was hard growing up, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have neither one of my parents. You know what I mean? I wasn't blessed with that. I was in the system, group homes, 11 group homes, camp 2 times, foster homes, you know what I mean?
I don't really remember a lot about when I was little. Just like whatever I remember is getting taken into foster homes, or like seeing my mom drunk, or seeing my dad drunk, or like yelling.
My dad would just be laying on the floor, sometimes drunk and passed over, you know, and I got used to it.
It was kind of crazy. I was little, so I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't know right from wrong. That's all I knew, because that's how I was raised.
Good pedaling.
I didn't really know that I was different, like that I didn't have a dad around. I mean, I knew he wasn't around, and I knew I had a dad. I knew that he was somewhere else, but I didn't really know where.
He wasn't really around. I mean, but when he was around, I always wanted to be with him. I'm the daddy's boy. I mean, me and my mom weren't really too fond of each other.
Either he was in jail, in the run, or in prison or on the run.
My dad, my dad was in and out of prison most of the time. It was usually over stupid stuff. I mean, crack, stealing stuff.
I think I didn't really realize that it was such a big deal until one day I was playing, you know, outside at preschool, and this little girl was like, you don't have a dad. And I was like, yes, I do. She's like, well, your dad's never around. He never comes to pick you up, you know, from school or anything, so you don't have one.
And it's like almost everywhere we moved, our father was there growing up and stuff like that, but he was only there for that long.
And like I went home and asked my mom, well, when's my dad going to come home? When am I going to see my dad? And she was like, well, I don't know, you know, that's up to your dad. Whenever he behaves, then he can get out of where he's at, you know. And I was like, okay. And I remember just thinking, well, gosh, how old am I going to be when I meet my dad?
My dad kept being a drunk. He didn't want to listen to reason, you know. He didn't want to listen to reason of my mom or my family. It was a disease, you know. It's something you can't just snap your fingers and it goes away, you know.
And I remember going with him to go see his probation officer, and they would bring him this little bottle, and he would have to pee in the bottle, and they would check it, and then that would determine if he was going to stay out or go back in. I remember like thinking that lady, the probation officer, was like his friend or something, because I was so little, I didn't understand. So I would color her pictures and think like, oh, maybe if I color her pictures and stuff, she won't take him back to jail.
And you're comfortable where you're at. That's what you're gonna do all your life. You know what I mean? My dad's comfortable where he's at. You know what I mean, his love has been the drugs. I mean, he chose his love for the drugs over us. It's a disease. I mean, he really don't. He's been doing it for so long. He probably it don't even register to him no more.
But then after a while, he was probably out for just a few months, and he went back again. And I remember feeling like, okay, well, we're a family, and now we're not a family anymore, you know. I don't know how to explain it, just not feeling like a whole, you know, a whole family, just feeling like there's something missing.
I thought I was on my own. Nobody loved me and whatever, you know, because my parents weren't there, and like I needed my parents there, and like people I was living with, they're trying to show me love or show me that they care in their way, but there's like they can't love you the way your parents love you.
You would go into this room, and it was like just this glass in front of you guys, and there was a phone in front of you, and you pick up the phone and you would say hi to your dad, and you would talk to him through this glass. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to touch your dad. You just would see him through this glass. You didn't know what it felt like to give your dad a hug or a kiss for however long you know he was in there. And I remember just the closest thing that you would get to touching him would be to put your hand up to that glass.
a lot of years. I only got about 2 letters from my mom. You know, and that's hard. You know what I mean? When you don't have nothing to go home to, there's nothing really to lose. You know what I mean?
For our birthdays, he would always send us like a little card. They would go in order by year. Happy first birthday. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy, you know, just all the holidays that he was never around for. I would get a card. And it says, you know, how your dad feels. Oh, you know, I'm sorry. I miss you. It's like, I don't care. You miss me. Big wow. That's the only memories that I have of my dad when I was little.
It affected me a lot not having my father there in my life. It affected my brother a lot not having my, you know what I mean? We're boys growing up in, you know, poverty and, you know what I mean? Low income apartments and projects and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
And then my mom, like, she's just drunk, and it was like me taking care of my mom all of the time.
I wanted my dad to realize how much he hurted us. Me being without my dad and my mom struggling. I mean, I remember my mom coming home so tired from work. And me thinking, wow, you know, she has to do that to pay the bills so we could have food. And if my dad was around, maybe she wouldn't have to work so hard, you know.
The times that it would like hurt me is when we would see him come back all drunk and sometimes beat up and like full of blood. And I mean, I was little and I still remember those things, you know. I still remember when me and my mother went and looking for him at the bars, you know, spending the money that wasn't his and you know, things like that.
I just remember wondering, you know, why did he choose to do that? When he had me and my little brother and my mom here that wanted to be with him, but instead he chose to do drugs. He chose to be in prison.
I remember seeing his sickness take over him, you know. I remember going and visiting him and how he used to shake sometimes when he wouldn't have his beer, or he would have like people that do heroin, you know, how they do like their withdrawals. Well, his was as bad as that, you know, shaking, being cold, fever, and it would scare me. I was like, what am I shooting at?
Me and my brothers and everybody's followed in my father's steps and the system and stuff like that. Drugs and things like that. So it's like a chain effect, you know what I mean?
Every time that I would see my dad drink, I would go and take a little sip, you know, just because I thought it was cool when I was little. And hey, look at me, I'm drinking and all you little kids can't.
I kind of started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I was probably in the 7th grade.
I started getting involved with gangs, and that's when I landed in the juvenile system first, because they got me for supposedly brandishing a weapon. So I went into jail. I said, hey, my dad was here, you know, and that's what the time my dad was sobering up. But he would try to come at me and tell me, hey, why are you doing this? And I would get mad at him. I would tell him, you know what, you can't tell me shit.
Like, what led me here is I didn't care about whoever was taking care of me. I didn't care about their rules. I was going to do what I wanted to do because you can't tell me because you're not my parents, you know? Like, what have you done for me, you know? You just kind of get in that mentality that you just do whatever you want to.
Like my friends and I, we all didn't like my teacher, this one teacher that we had. It was like a group of us girls. And we decided, well, you know what, let's get back at her. Let's key her car. So we keyed her car and we got arrested. And I remember thinking, now my dad's gonna know what it feels like to see someone that you love in jail. To see someone that you love, you know, in handcuffs.
Tres. No, todavía no acabamos 100.
And he would be there for me. You know, my friends wouldn't be. You know, I would be in jail, I wouldn't want to call him because I would feel embarrassed. But I would go to court and he would be there for me.
So he went to go pick me up at the police department. And as soon as he saw me, he started crying. I
remember going visiting him after I think it was a couple months because they wouldn't let us visit because he was that bad, and I remember he actually looked better. He looked like a new person. I didn't recognize him. I was like, okay, well, how you doing? I felt weird. I was like, who are you? But he kept doing good and he kept trying to not prove himself to me, but showing me that he cared.
So, we really got to know each other. I got to spend time with him, and it was like this whole new experience. I remember feeling like so important that my dad had finally chose to, be with me.
And he took it to the heart, he said, finally that he's awoken out of, I guess, that deep sleep, of being drunk all the time.
I was excited because when I got married by church, he walked me down the aisle, and that's something that I had always dreamed of. I finally realized it when I was dancing the first dance at my wedding. I remember just dancing with him and thinking, gosh, I think I can finally count on that he's gonna stay around,
So I think I accept him now, fully, and I, wouldn't know what to do without him, When I talk to him about problems or things like that, he answers me with wisdom, and I like that, I really do. It's like, I wish I could have had that in the beginning.
Okay, let's count the yellow ones. And now that I have kids, he's being a part of their life too. So that was just really exciting for me.
He showed me that even though being in the worst situation, that you could come up, you could be what you could be, and I'm barely starting to get that, I'm barely trying to get my life straight again,
How I broke the cycle was moving away. Figuring I can't save the world, man. I can't sit here and try to throw myself in my mom's face or, my brother's face, my sister's face, or my dad and stuff like that. I got to do something for myself. I've been by myself my whole life since 9 years old. I made it this far, so I don't want to continue living in Southern California fighting and gang banging.
It's kind of hard to break from the bad things that I do, but I try to do good and go to school and listen, even though it's hard sometimes, and not to grieve off not having a perfect life or not having my dad here.
Every boy needs their father. I have 2 boys, so I know.
Turn the light up there, Kids suffer, they might think they don't because they're your kids and you can mold them as you want, but they have feelings, and they'll remember things. They will remember things, and just basically to love them, to love them and be there for them,
Push! Push! When I lay down to bed, my son wants to sleep on my side of the bed instead of, it's unconditional love. They don't judge you. Your kids don't judge you. Everybody else in this world may judge you. Your girlfriends may judge you. The judge, I'm on probation, he judges me. He don't know me, And my son, it's like every time he sees me, it's daddy. Both of them. So that's a joy, sparkle in my eye. That makes up for everything I've been through in life. As long as I can go ahead and make sure that he's okay.
Be there for your child. And just be a responsible parent, do what you gotta do, be an adult, be a grown-up.
You ready to go to the park?
Yeah.
You got kids that love you, and when they see you, they like my kids, they run to me, I'm like God to my kids, what more can you ask for? That's enough right there alone to keep me, myself out of jail.
I remember one time I was in jail, and it was visitation day, right? And I had 2 friends that their parents didn't come, but they said, hey, tell them that your dad's our uncle, so we could just, talk and stuff.
There's resources out there. People think that when you come out of institutions, there's no resources. If you talk to your probation officers, and there's shelters and stuff like that, there's always a way to start.
And when we left, when the visitation was over, the first compliment that I actually had from a friend or from a couple of friends that said, hey, your dad was deep. Your dad was deep. Your dad was in bullshit, and I got to get my shit straight.
If you don't have no morals and values, then you're good where you're at. You like being locked up. You're okay with being locked up, you know what I mean? But it's a whole nother world outside of there. And there's so much opportunity, so much to learn.
But this is not like the place you would want to be when you're like for your teen. It's not the place you want to be, period, for, you know?
You got to make different moves, do different things in your life. You know what I mean? If you're doing the same thing and getting the same results, and it's, you know, and it's negative results, not the results that you want, then you got to stop.
Like, people are better than this place. It's not the place you come to learn, you know, how to be a free person, how to be a good person, responsible person.
But not saying that I'm like a changed man, you know what I mean? I'm only 25 years old. If I go back down south, you know what I mean, I'm still liable to, if I'm around my homies, you know what I mean? But I have to think about my kids, that's why I don't go down there that much, if at all, you know what I mean? Because I know that I'm not ready for that yet. I still got that mentality, so I'm comfortable right here.
Just raise your hand, say I. Check what's the hit to spit this lullaby. But not a fable, this my line. And I'm just trying to make it good for you and I. This ain't paradise, not a fairy tale. True story, living on where. This ain't paradise, not a fairy tale. True story, we living on hell. It's people that's my age with their eyes pissed yellow. But everybody got some issues.